What's up, guys? My name is unCAGEDgamez. Welcome back to another video. Today we are checking out the DC Fandome Injustice panel. Now this happened over the weekend, but I was actually busy and not home, so I couldn't check it out live, but I found the full video, so we are going to check it out because apparently you guys have told me there's some Injustice 3 talks. So let's go. If you guys are excited, drop a huge thumbs up for that Injustice love, and let's watch this thing if you guys have not yet and don't want to miss out when they do reveal more details on Injustice. Subscribe to the channel and ring that bell icon. Half of you guys are not subscribed. Let's get that other half to subscribe, and let's get that 1 million, baby! Let's get it. DC Fandome, a global experience. Inside Injustice making the hit games and comics.
Hey everyone, it's Jeff Keighley.
Jeff Keighley's back.
To the Monarch Theater here at DC Fandome's Watchverse.
Thank you.
This is exciting because we are going to bring a very special panel to you right now. Thanks for joining us, and we are going to celebrate the best-selling Injustice video game.
Oh yeah,
Injustice: Gods Among Us and Injustice 2, as well as other work that NetherRealm Studios has done with the DC franchise. Both the Injustice games are bestsellers and have even spawned the creation of a hugely popular digital-first comic of the same name, as well as a couple of hugely popular mobile games as well. So let's get right into it. An all-star panel today for everyone here at the DC Fandome. Of course, we got to welcome a man who's very busy all around the fandom. I'm sure is DC's Chief Creative Officer and Publisher, Jim Lee.
Jim Lee's on
Jim,
everything.
Great to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
We've also got the Creative Director at NetherRealm Studios. Of course, you can't do an Injustice panel without him, Ed Boon.
Ed
Dr.
Boon,
how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here with everybody. It's a lot of fun.
And we also have the story and voiceover director at NetherRealm Studios.
my boy, Dominic.
I'm doing great. An absolute pleasure to be here today.
All right, you got the
Good
Injustice
to see Dominic here.
I like it. Properly set. And finally, we have another special guest, the #1 New York Times best-selling writer of Injustice: Gods Among Us, Injustice 2, Injustice Year Zero, Deceased, and the creator of the Deep TV series, Tom Taylor. Hey, Tom.
Hello.
All right, we've got everyone connected. Well, let's get right into it.
Let's get into it.
We are so excited about Injustice, but in case you need a reminder, here's a taste of what the games and comic books were about.
Come on, if you didn't know what Injustice is about, you've been living under a rock. Oh my God.
Savior.
It's been so long since I've seen this trailer.
Guardian.
There's so much good memories.
Vigilante. The preservation of life.
Oh man.
So often, the justification.
I remember
for
the
taking
hype.
it.
I remember the hype that this trailer brought.
Humans elevating those that keep guard until they watch.
Man, the lights always turn off when
too
Batman's
close.
there, huh?
And the so-called hero condoning the
Ooh.
very act he would condemn. Transgressions of the past
It's the Earth. It's the Earth.
shape actions to
Okay.
come. As offspring turns into adversary,
You see Damien. And Superman just in the back like a creeper over there.
yesterday's loss leads to madness.
Kind of scary, actually.
And God becomes tyrant, becomes outcast, becomes dust. As factions
Society.
dissolve and form,
Dude, this trailer is something else,
lust
man.
for power enslaves all.
This trailer, they absolutely
Folly
killed it
and
with.
futility and the grand design.
One of the best trailers I've ever
Lines once
made.
clearly defined become blurred.
Superhero landing.
Perhaps it is time for them to be redrawn.
Brainiac. Dude. Still a hype trailer to this day. I hope Injustice 3's trailer
So let's get right
is
into
anything
all
like
things
that.
Injustice.
It's gonna be awesome.
Let's talk a bit about the world of Injustice. Of course, we know you and the NetherRealm team for amazing work on Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah.
What was the catalyst for you guys to work on Injustice? Of course, you're part of Warner Brothers and the DC family, but what was the sort of the impetus for this game and the crazy storyline that you came up with?
Well, we have been working on Mortal Kombat games, forever in a sense. And then we got the opportunity to do a game called Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. And with that game, one of the things that really stood out for us was there was an opportunity to do a pure DC fighting game, something that celebrated, things on a superhero scale and level of things. And that was really kind of like the catalyst that got us into thinking, let's do a DC fighting game. And then Justice was really born from that. With any story in fighting games, we always want to see matchups. We want to see Superman versus Batman. We want to see Flash versus Wonder Woman. We want to see all these things. And so we needed a story that would actually have it make sense that Superman and Batman.
And for the most part, it makes sense. Yeah.
Conflict.
Well, it's such a fresh take on the universe. Dom, tell us a bit about the script and bring.
I love
this to
Dominic's
life
Injustice poster there. I think it's
own
an
slice of the
exclusive,
multiverse.
never released.
Was it?
The Injustice universe really started to take shape because it brought a couple of questions to the fore, and that is, what events could cause Superman to let go of these self-imposed restraints that he has and sort of pursue justice by any means necessary? And then how would that process corrupt him? And then once we got to there, it's like, okay, how are the other people in the DC universe going to react to this unchained Superman? And so from there, the battle lines got drawn very quickly as you looked at the characters and their relationships, and sort of the fissures of how they would deal with this were exposed. And from there, it was just a matter of weaving all this stuff together into one big tapestry and creating the events that became the main plot of Injustice.
And as a huge Superman fan, I was traumatized by this idea. But, of course, I had to agree because it was getting to play with some of the greatest toys in the world. And I spoke to Jim Jafunk about this. He and I came up with this idea. I was given the game script by the people at NetherRealm. I went, oh my God, how do we get here? And that was the story that I realized we had to tell. We had to tell the story of the world's greatest friendship, the world's finest friendship breaking up, essentially.
That's quite the story that you put together. And the story continued in Injustice 2, both classic games from NetherRealm.
But where's
and
3 though?
I ask you about the characters in this game, because as you know, with any of your fighting games, people want to know which characters are you going to get to play as, who's going to be featured in the game. Beyond Batman and Superman, how did you determine kind of the roster of characters for both the first game and the second game?
Like this.
I know it's a constant debate and discussion, but can you maybe take us inside your thought process?
That's how they picked.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that had to be satisfied with that. Obviously we start with popularity of the characters. We're not going to have a DC game without Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern. We also wanted a balance of heroes and villains.
Beast Boy for
Justice
Injustice 3.
Represent the villains in there. We wanted enough female characters. And then the story needs, I had these really unreasonable restrictions that I put on the story team where we got to have Batman fight Superman. We got to have Batman fight Batman. We got to have Superman fight Superman. Wonder Woman has to fight Flash. So this long list of, we got to set up these fights. And then they had to write a story that satisfied all of those situations, that set up those conflicts. And to this day, I'm still amazed that they wrote a cohesive story within those restrictions. And, on top of that, kind of like what Dominic was saying, we were able to put because it was an alternate universe and one that we kind of carved out, we were able to a lot more flexibility and have heroes and villains do things that they would normally never do, that kind of broke their code in a sense, but at the same time told a really compelling story. So it was a lot of simultaneous things that had to be satisfied that amazingly were done.
Tom, this world was really introduced to people through a comic, which was amazing, is where it sort of all started ahead of Injustice, the original game. And I was curious, the comic also was able to introduce more characters. And can you talk a bit about how you approached kind of developing the wider world of Injustice?
I loved
beyond
reading
the
the
game?
Injustice comics.
Sure. Well, look, I'll start with the
So
fact that
good.
there were a lot more characters. And basically, this was my first big shot at DC. And I saw a chance to play with all the best toys straight away. And so that's why there were so many characters, because I just wanted to write them all. Unfortunately, I had the game script, so I could see where the world went. I could see who had to be taken off the board. But what I ended up doing was just unleashing a little bit too much and taking too many people off the board. So I remember when Ed and Dominic were meeting to talk about Injustice 2, they were like, oh, we can have this character. No, Tom's killed him. Oh, what about no, Tom's killed her? Which was, fun for me and a terrible nightmare for them. But as far as expanding on this universe, I mean, it was a joy. We had this book that was coming out every single week, and we could do anything. We had their great script. I knew that this was a universe where Aquaman could feed a person to a shark. So for me, there were no boundaries. And it was just so much fun to play with. And obviously, I didn't want to do these terrible things to Superman and to Batman, these characters that I loved. But I knew I had to, so I just went with it. And then it was just a matter of building something that made sense for the character.
Dom, for you as a writer, how did Tom talked about sort of the collaboration a little bit there. How did what Tom was doing for the comics influence the game? He mentioned the game scripts. Were you guys collaborating on this from the get-go?
Sure. Well, the efforts between the comics and the game were running independently, because as Tom mentioned, we had the game script done, and then he began work on the comic. But then it became over time sort of a feedback loop as we moved into Injustice 2, because Tom had done this amazing job in the first set of comics of sort of following the breadcrumbs, the little things we hinted at in the script, and then expanding on them, and then taking them to level 500. Introducing a whole bunch of new elements that we hadn't even thought of with the amazing canvas that he had. And so once we came to Injustice 2, we had to deal with, yes, all the people that Tom killed off, but then there were so many other items that he had done that we wanted to pay honor to. And so even like, for example, the first chapter of the Injustice 2 story mode is a flashback, and it actually retells one of the key sets of events where we see Batman and Superman come apart that is depicted in the comics. We had to tweak it a little bit to make it work within the context of the game story, but it all worked together to sort of really make everything feel like one big continuity. And there are a lot of other things as well. I mean, the way that Tom had ended Black Canary's story with another alternate dimension Green Arrow from a third dimension, we were able to work that back into Injustice 2 to justify
Which was awesome.
Green Arrow's continued appearance in the story, even though he had been killed off. So it was really great to have that additional springboard as we moved into Injustice.
And one of the great collaborations we had with Injustice was Jim Lee.
Scorpion
graced us with a custom design of Scorpion for Injustice, as Scorpion guest starred on the Injustice 1 game. And so, there was just so much
and Sub-Zero for Injustice 2.
pollination and collaboration with everybody. It was a great time to be involved with comics, video games, mobile games. They just really played off each other well. And, it was a great time.
I want to remind everyone that the Injustice story isn't done. The 14-chapter digital-first comic series Injustice Year Zero just launched on August the 2nd. It's a prequel to the first Injustice series, and the first 4 chapters are available right now for purchase at Comixology and participating digital retailers. So there you go. The Injustice story continues. All right, well, we are not done with Dom and Ed, because there was another amazing collaboration that just happened this year. That is, of course, the Joker coming into Mortal Kombat 11, something that we were all so excited to see. And guys, let's talk a bit about the crossover between DC and MK11. Ed, lots of great guest characters, of course, in MK. Why did the team decide to include Joker in MK11?
Over the years, we always assumed that there was this line that we could not have DC characters in Mortal Kombat. It was, and I would always use the expression, I have no desire to cut Batman's head off. So as we thought about it a little bit more, Joker had this movie coming up, which was, an R-rated movie, and it was taking a really kind of hard-edged look at that character, a darker look. And so we thought that there was an opportunity to even consider putting him in Mortal Kombat. And when we asked, to our surprise and our to delight, DC was, yeah, let's talk about this. And so, we came up with a very dark version of the Joker.
Very dark.
Mortal Kombat 11 has a lot of customization in it. And so as far as we gave him a look, very dark look, but the main thing was having players come up with their look of Joker, different hats, different canes, different outfits that they could wear. And that's what I've seen people doing mainly, is just building what they think Joker should look like in Mortal Kombat.
And that extended to the intros. Dom, tell us a bit about getting Joker to get to play in this world. Again, you're having too much fun, but could you tell us a bit about how you came up with some of those insane intros?
Sure. The Joker intros it's a big collaboration among a lot of people, because there are two aspects of expressing character within the intros. First is the physical animation. What is the character doing? How are they entering the fight? And then the other side of it, of course, is what I specialize in, which is the dialogue side of things. Now, Josh Slingerland, who is our creative lead on the physical side of the animations, he was going for something that he would call like playfully murderous, and really creating this very dark take on the Joker. And he was really inspired by the Droogs in Stanley Kubrick's Clockwork Orange. You see a lot of that kind of with him in the character. And he's also looking at other sort of comics and other properties where the Joker's appeared in, and sort of being inspired by iconic moments and beats to sort of include in those intros. From a dialogue side, we're trying to continue that as well, and really trying to make Joker stand out among the other MK villains, so that he's uniquely dark, uniquely depraved, and different, and just he revels in violence in a way that even some of our worst villains of Mortal Kombat don't. Other part of the fun for us, of course, is that this is not our first turn with Joker in a Mortal Kombat Joker mashup, and so we wanted
Joker's
to
been in a lot of games.
Honor what had come before in Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe, so that the characters that were in MK11 that also appeared in that game, they had a history with Joker. They remember him. They have bad memories of that. So we could sort of play with that. And, our fans always love when we Easter egg things and do callbacks. And it was really well received, that nod to MK's history with Joker's appearance in this one.
Now we've got a couple of fan questions.
All right, fan Q&A. Someone asked about Injustice.
World
3
questions about all things from NetherRealm. So we got a couple that we're going to go to. And this first one is, I'm sure, a question that got it sent in by quite a few people.
Come on, baby.
But, the one that we happened to select was from Juan in Argentina. And he wants to know, Injustice 3 coming soon?
Oh my God, my mic, my headset turned off. Of course it turns off right now. I think we're back on. Okay, I think we're back on. Okay.
Wants to know,
okay.
Injustice 3 coming soon? Ed?
Oh, I'd love to answer that question. We have nothing to say at the moment about Injustice 3. I wish we could talk, but at the moment we have nothing to announce. But we appreciate the desire to see one.
Just stay.
So that's what they're gonna do to us. They have a whole Injustice panel. Jeff Keighley brings up Injustice 3, and Ed's like, nah, man, nah. It was gonna be too good to be true. I hope they talk more about Injustice 3, because so many of you guys told me, Cage, you gotta check out the DC Fandome Injustice panel. They talk about Injustice 3. If this is all they talked about, ooh, bye.
Stay tuned to Ed's Twitter. One day he'll tease something. But all right.
I'm always on Ed's Twitter, dude.
We tried, right? All right, on to the next question. This is one I think both you guys can answer. Yvonne from the UK wants to know, what member of the Justice League would win the Mortal Kombat
Superman
tournaments?
or Batman?
I was thinking about this today, and I had a thought occurred to me. I'm actually going to go with the Atom, because I'm not sure anybody in the Mortal Kombat universe would have ever fought anything like it, and his particular powers of being able to go.
No, that's actually a pretty good answer.
Absolutely gigantic. If he showed up at the Mortal Kombat tournament unannounced with no preparation, he might just wipe the floor with everybody.
Right to the
good
top.
answer. Good answer, Dominic.
If we eliminated those pills that the characters took in Injustice to be able to withstand, a fight with Superman, they don't exist in Mortal Kombat, so I'd have to go with Superman. I mean,
Of course.
that's obviously, can't imagine somebody being fast enough to even make contact with him.
Come on.
Ed, Dom, this has been so much fun. And again, you guys have done so many great games over the years at NetherRealm, but also what you've done with Injustice has just been so fresh and exciting in the DC universe. And I love that it's extended into comic books and the mobile game, hopefully other mediums as well in the future. And I hope this is not the last we've heard of Injustice.
I hope so too, Jeff.
Side. But congratulations, guys, on an amazing franchise. 2 franchises, really, MK and also Injustice. And we look forward to whatever NetherRealm has for us in the future. So Ed Boon, Dom, thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you for
and this has been such an awesome insight into the world of DC.
That was it. That was everything on the Injustice DC Fandome panel. They didn't announce Injustice 3, which I kind of assumed, but I had a small glimmer of hope that they were going to do it. I knew Ed Boon was going to be on DC Fandome. I knew Injustice had a panel, but I felt like if Injustice 3 was going to get announced, Ed Boon would have teased a little bit on his Twitter. But I feel like it's still too early for Injustice 3. I would have liked an announcement, but they're not done with MK11 yet. Ed Boon says there's a lot more stuff coming. So if anything, Injustice 3 is going to get announced end of next year. Maybe. That's like the earliest. End of next year. And then this game might get released the following year. So we won't be playing Injustice 3 or hearing about Injustice 3 for a little bit. And also because of the whole pandemic, that's probably slowing things down even more. So I don't know if we're seeing Injustice 3 anytime soon here, but hopefully this is not the end of Injustice, man. I love the games, and just watching that trailer for Injustice 2 makes me want to play some Injustice. So if you guys want to see some Injustice, drop a thumbs up and comment down below and let me know. Would you guys like to see Injustice 3? All right, if you guys don't want to see Injustice 3, we cannot be friends anymore. I need Beast Boy in the game right now, okay? Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, drop a huge thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell icon so you guys get notified every time we upload a brand new video. You guys don't want to miss it, because when they do release Injustice 3 news, your boy will be covering it 100%. So stay tuned for that. Like, subscribe to the channel. My name's unCAGEDgamez, and you just got caged. And today, find this brand new Mortal Kombat 11 Sub-Zero statue, and I don't have it. I think I need it. There's also the Cyrax figure here, but I already have it, so no need to buy another one.